hunter married the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. For a time, he believed himself the luckiest man in the kingdom. Then his dog began growling at her every night, without fail. And one moonlit evening, he discovered why. This is Simple Tales. Long ago, in the mountains of Korea, there lived a fox older than memory itself. For 1,000 years, it survived among lonely forests and hidden valleys. It watched kingdoms rise and fall. It watched generations of humans live, love, and vanish like morning mist. As the centuries passed, the fox grew powerful. At last, it became a Kumiho, a 9-tailed fox spirit. It could take the form of a beautiful woman. It could speak with a human voice. It could walk among villages unnoticed. Yet despite all its power, there was one thing it lacked. It was not human. And more than anything, it wished to become one. Some said a Kumiho could achieve this by living for another 1,000 years without harming a soul. Others claimed it must gather human energy through a magical fox bead known as a yuiju. Still others whispered darker things. Stories of fox spirits whose pursuit of humanity left sorrow in their wake. Whatever the truth, the longing remained. The Kumiho wanted a human life, a human heart, a human future. One spring, it descended from the mountains and entered a village. There it appeared as a young woman of extraordinary beauty. Her voice was gentle. Her manners were graceful. No one knew where she had come from, yet everyone admired her. Among those who noticed her was a young hunter who lived alone at the edge of the forest. He was kind, hard-working, and respected throughout the village. When they met, conversation came easily. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Eventually, they married. At first, their life seemed blessed. The hunter could scarcely believe his fortune. His wife was intelligent and thoughtful. Their home was peaceful. But small things began to trouble him. One evening, while they shared a meal by the fire, his hunting dog suddenly rose to its feet. Its fur bristled. A low growl rumbled from its throat. The animal stared directly at his wife. The room fell silent. For a moment, something flickered across her face, not fear, recognition. Then it vanished. She calmly stood and carried the empty bowls outside. Another day, the hunter returned from the marketplace with strange news. A shepherd claimed he had seen a giant fox running across a distant hillside beneath the moon. The villagers laughed at the story. His wife did not. She became unusually quiet. That night, she spent a long time gazing toward the mountains beyond their home. As the seasons passed, the unease slowly grew. Whenever dogs approached her, they became agitated. Some barked furiously, others whimpered and fled. His own hunting dog behaved worst of all. The animal had always been loyal and calm. Around his wife, it never relaxed. Its eyes followed her constantly. as though it saw something no human could see. The hunter tried to dismiss these incidents, yet doubt had already taken root. One autumn evening, he returned home later than expected. The house was silent. No lamp burned, no fire crackled. His wife was nowhere to be seen. Then he heard a faint sound behind a closed door. Curious, he approached. A narrow crack ran through the wooden frame. He looked inside and froze. Moonlight spilled across the floor. In its pale glow stood not a woman, but a fox. A massive fox. Its silver fur shimmered like frost. 9 enormous tails spread behind it like a fan. Before the creature floated a glowing pearl. The fox bead. The Yuiju. The sphere drifted slowly through the air, shining with an eerie golden light. The fox breathed upon it. The bead brightened. Clouds swirled within its depths. Mountains appeared and vanished. Stars glittered in miniature worlds trapped beneath its surface. Then, before the hunter's eyes, the fox transformed. Its tails disappeared, its muzzle shortened, its body shifted. Moments later, his wife stood where the beast had been. The hunter staggered backward. His heart pounded. His mind screamed that he should run. Every tale he had heard since childhood warned him to flee. Yet another part of him remembered shared meals beside the fire, quiet conversations beneath the stars, the woman who had comforted him when he was ill, the woman he loved. Fear and affection collided within him until he could no longer separate one from the other. A floorboard creaked. The door opened. His wife stepped into the hallway. For a long moment, neither spoke. At last, she lowered her eyes. "You know." It was not a question. The hunter could barely find his voice. "You are a Kumiho." She nodded. "I am." He thought of the old stories. Stories that rarely ended happily for the humans involved. "Why?" he whispered. The Kumiho turned toward the mountains visible through the window. When she spoke, her voice carried the weariness of centuries. "I wanted to be human." The hunter remained silent. "For 1,000 years I watched your kind," she continued. "I watched your joys and sorrows, your victories and failures. I watched children grow old and families gather around their fires. I watched people love one another despite knowing life would not last." Her gaze drifted downward. "And I wanted that life for myself." For the first time, the hunter saw not a monster, not a spirit, but someone burdened by a longing so great it had endured for centuries. "And now?" he asked quietly. A faint smile touched her lips. "Now I do not know." Silence settled between them. Outside, the first light of dawn touched the horizon. The foxbead floated nearby, glowing softly. The Kumiho looked at it. For centuries it had been her companion, her power, her hope, everything she believed would one day make her human. Slowly, she reached out and took the bead into her hands. The hunter watched. He understood that a choice was being made, not between life and death, but between two different futures. The Kumiho closed her eyes. Then she placed the fox bead upon the floor and stepped away. The pearl's light flickered, dimmed, and vanished. The room grew still. Neither spoke, neither needed to. The hunter never fully understood what happened that night. Some say the Kumiho surrendered her power and finally became human. Others say she returned to the mountains and disappeared forever. Yet the oldest storytellers tell a different version. They say that what changed her was not magic, not immortality, not the fox bead. It was being seen. For the first time in 1,000 years, someone looked beyond the tales, beyond the legends, beyond the fear, and saw the person she wished to become. And perhaps that was the transformation she had been seeking all along. Even now, some travelers claim that on moonlit nights, a beautiful woman can be seen walking among the pine forests of Korea. If they look carefully, they say they can glimpse 9 silver shadows moving behind her. Whether spirit or human, no one can say. But the legend endures. The tale of the Kumiho reminds us that appearances can deceive, yet it asks a deeper question. Can something truly change its nature? Perhaps the answer lies not in what we are born as, but in the choices we make, and in the people who believe we can become something more. Thank you for joining this simple tale. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves myths, legends, and forgotten tales from around the world. Until the next one.